What does invasive mean? Invasive refers to an organism inhabiting a non-native environment in a harmful manner. An example would be a lionfish, which made its way to the western Atlantic Ocean, but it was originally from the Pacific Ocean and Red Sea. Another would be Plantago lanceolata, which is a plant known for its spread to the United States, but originally came from continents such as Europe and Africa. So here's a picture of a lionfish and Plantago lanceolata. Invasive species damage local wildlife and thereby inhibit local organismal interactions such as food webs. This relates to our class discussion on food chains and interactions between native organisms. So for the lionfish, they are known to eat juveniles of many fish instrumental to the Atlantic, such as snappers. Plantago lanceolata choke out native plant species through their quick growth and spread. So how can we help? We can investigate how these invasive species, specifically plants, are able to move to new environments. Some scientists have studied the lag phase of invasive plants to determine whether climate change impacts when these species will start growing in non-native environments. This lag phase is a time period that many invasive plants spend underground before sprouting on the surface. Finding solutions through research can help us save these native environments.
Effects on conservation. The lag phase can have negative effects on conservation because it may lead to underestimations of the effect that alien species might have on that ecological niche. It may appear that the current effects of the alien species aren't drastic or don't constitute a big risk, but once the lag phase ends, the underestimation is clear and can be devastating to that habitat. So better understanding how often lag periods occur and for how long can help conservationists be better prepared for or even prevent the expansion of the alien species into that ecological niche. Key factors. The main causes of lag phases are long generation times, the time needed for adaptation to the new ecological niche, and base fitness of the alien species for the niche when they first arrive. Main factors that end lag phases include changes in the environment, biotic factors such as disease, and abiotic factors such as increased natural disaster rate, human activity, and climate change. Potential effects of climate on ecological niches. Conservation efforts have been based on the comparison of the realized niches of the alien species' original habitat and the habitat they invaded. If the realized niche of the invaded habitat is greater than that of the original, it could be a higher chance of rapid species expansion, which could damage the ecological niche. The authors studied the changes in the climate of the niches, which can lead to the alien species to transition from the lag phase to the post-lag or expansion phase. They created a chart representing the possible differences between the lag and post-lag phases as a result of changes in climate. The vertical axis shows the changes in the size of the post-lag phase, the brown dashed lines, from the lag phase, the blue solid lines. And the horizontal axis shows the change in centroid position of the climate space. This chart tells us if there is a correlation between the transition from the lag phase to the expansion phase in climate. When species arrive to areas with a climate that is not ideal, it might increase the lag phase more than expected. But if species are able to travel to areas with more ideal climates, it could lead to the transition between the lag phase and expansion phase.
As we proceed to our next slide, we are going to be talking about the relation of time lags to certain ecological niches and how it relates to class discussions and how it also relates to invasive plants in those niches. As a result of their research, the authors identified three main factors that have the strongest effect on climate in different ecological niches. These are as shown: precipitation, mean, temperature, and seasonality. Here is the graph created by researchers where they plotted the climates in the lag, as shown in the yellow graph, and post-lag in the blue graph. These phases are directly compared against this variable to visualize the effects that changes in climate have on realized niches of alien species. They also determined the degree of novelty or overlap that was experienced by the realized niches in the lag and post-lag phases. To determine if the change in climate was a significant enough factor to end the lag phase, the researchers decided that the central order mean should have shifted more than random expected changes. So a permutation test, which is a tool that uses proof by contradiction, was conducted to determine whether that shift was random or not. The results showed a relationship between changes in climate and transition from lag to post-lag phase of a species, leading the authors to deduce that climate likely does have an effect ending the lag phase. Processes of evolution, genetic mutation, and other biotic factors play fundamental roles in determining the success of an alien species in a new ecological niche. Although climate change can demonstrate an impact on lag periods of the study invasive plants, the shift in an invasive species could also play an important role in determining the length they spend before rising to the surface. For instance, an unexpected mutation within an invasive plant that increases tolerability to higher rates of precipitation may cause adaptation to occur in this population if the gene coincides with increased precipitation rates within the plant's environment. As a result, this could decrease the lag time of this invasive species without the effects of climate change. The lag and post-lag phases relate directly to what we have talked about in class about ecological niches and species fitness to the niches they occupy. Species niches are more fit for their environment, meaning they have traits that make them more adapted to that environment and therefore increasing their chance of reproduction. Therefore, the fitness of alien species to the ecological niche they arrive to have a direct impact on the length of their lag period. Alien species that have higher fitness to and more adapted to their new ecological niche will experience a shorter time lag compared to species that are less fit and require time to adapt. For example, natural selection. Therefore, experience a longer lag time. It is those species that have longer lag times that make it harder for their conservationists to estimate their effect on an ecosystem and take action.